Good afternoon, America. Hour number 5. What do you mean hour number 5? I've been trying to do this video all morning because I want to try to speak to the country the clearest and best way I can on what's going on in the country. Because we're all scared. We're worried about what's going to be coming in the next coming year. It's right around the corner, actually. And we are running out of time here to actually get something in motion with not only the pandemic, but restoring our country to a new and better place in space and time, right? Of course. So starting with comment number 1, basically just like how do you come, what conclusion have you come to? Because, in the community A, B, C, and D, right? Absolutely. The conclusion I've come to is there is a possibility that this is all planned. I don't say that to start some kind of a coup or, stir up anything in our current state of media. That's not the case. The case is real. We are in big trouble. We're in trouble with politics. We're in trouble with health and human wellness and well-being in America. And that's not on the agenda for the politicians. Obviously, they're not saying anything, for example, militias. Why aren't the politicians speaking out and condemning this? I'll tell you why, because that will fuck up the plan. The elites aren't happy that Biden was elected. Here's why. Trump, not only Trump, it's the government itself, Congress, and the Supreme Court. Let me clue America in on something with Trump and his presidency. He's not a fucking politician. He's a fucking idiot. The brains behind this are Mike Pence, Nancy Pelosi, all Supreme Court seats. That's who's making this happen. The Republican Party and Democratic Party, obviously. So, with everyone on media to call you out, why the fuck are you saying it's all Trump? It's not. It's not. That's what they're paying you to say, but it's not. America, working class, just like me and just like you, I want everyone to hear this. You lost your country. Wrong. You lost the idea. The country physically, yeah, it's real. It's a rock. It's real. Everyone in it is a physical vessel. Yep. Everyone on the face of this country. We're getting deep today, so follow me. Your ideas should be just as deep. Okay? You lost the idea of a free country. You never had it. Because nobody ever got to the true freedom. True freedom is freedom itself. All right? It's a state of mind. If you feel free, then you're free. If you don't feel free, then you're not. Freedom can be achieved through oneself. It's your inner light. Okay? And that's a whole nother ball game and department. Don't want to derail the people on today's consciousness. But yes, you are in the middle of a fascist dictatorial takeover. These people want Trump. They want Trump in power because he's dumb. And number 2, he'll listen to anything Congress and his administration says because he's not a politician. And I'm including everyone in state level government. You're not saying anything because you're part of the plan. And that's that. America, stop trusting politicians. They're not people of intelligence. They're not people of higher consciousness. They're people of money and greed, and they're miserable people. So why do they want to take over the fucking country, James? I'll tell you why. Because after the ultimate power in knowing that you are the ultimate authority, if you are in policy, legislation, and or decision-making, Supreme Court, then the bottom line is they want more power. That's all it is. And they will pay these militias to march as long as it distracts you from their wrongdoing. That's how you keep corruption going. And will the comment number 2, excuse me. What's your opinion on the militias attacking our state government and us in our communities? There's some pretty high chances. America, militias are based on violence, only about violence, and if you don't think the way they do, they commit violent acts. They're militias. This particular militant movement of Proud Boys and Oath Keepers are basically neo-Nazi ideology, and they will hurt you. They will pull triggers. Why do you think that they're being funded through the federal government? There's plenty of evidence. Just go look for it. How did they get access to military weapons without LTCs? They have LTCs. They're all veterans. War fucks you up. War hurts you. Especially if you're fighting street wars and shelters, which a lot of people are doing right now. That's how I have this information, America. My sources, America, I can share some of them. They live in shelters. They work, they go to work, they feed themselves, they send money to their families because unfortunately low income in some parts of this country has changed. So they're basically providing for their families and living in public facilities because certain amount of people can live in low income housing. It's different everywhere. And that's what's going on in your country. They're funding militias, the law enforcement supplying them weaponry, and that's that. So to call progressive media again in my program, you should not be telling the people to disengage. You should be telling the people to stand their ground, and if they have to fight, fight. No media should be telling anybody in a position in which our country has no leadership and no honest word anywhere to disengage. That's defeatist. That's dumb. America, you pull a knife on me, I'm gonna pull a gun. That's just how it works. Okay? And that's that. But to get to the second half of today's program, what can be done and what we can do in this country, number one, change your thinking. Stop consuming the media altogether because it's just a bunch of bullshit. It's really just the he said, she said, high school bullshit with Photoshop. And that goes for TYT too. For everybody, comment number 3. I don't know where to get my information anymore. I read the local South Boston Chronicle. Big ups to Boston. That's awesome. South Boston Chronicle is a good paper. And, I'm sorry, the Metro South Boston newspaper. And it seems like they're telling everybody in my community the simple fact that we're doing everything we can without the resources at our disposal to take care of us in Boston. Absolutely. Lived out there 5 years of my life. I love you guys. Found my new way of living out there. And yes, that's basically what it is. You have to consume your own information in your own community. Focus on family and community. That is how you're going to strengthen your state and local level, by taking care of it ourselves. They're focused up in Washington on the 1%, the providers on everything we use on a daily basis. And once you come to that conclusion, you'll find yourself focused on what matters the most. They want you to focus on them because they love power. Everybody in a congressional seat, again, America, you shall not forget, you put me in a position of power such as Chuck Schumer or Mitch McConnell, America, I'm going to slowly but surely turn into a miserable, greedy crack a fuck that cares solely about my 1%, my providers, my masters. That's all I'm going to care about because that's what money and greed does to you. I'm not talking actors or athletes, I'm talking politicians. I'm talking high level assholes. People that don't care about the well-being of other people, that will come on any television news network to tell you that so you keep buying into the propaganda. Comment number 4 on Trump, which is, I find hilarious. It's funny how everybody in media keeps saying that Trump is doing all the string pulling when it's really the 1%. Again, and solely every sitting member of Congress and the Supreme Court. Again, America, plain and simple. So I hope that everybody enjoyed this program and heed the warning. You're going to have to engage sometimes. You're going to have to, especially down south, to everybody, all my viewers out in Florida, Kentucky, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, all the way to Detroit, everywhere. All my fellow community members of every community, solely like mine, working class and low income, they will march, they will pull weapons on you. You have to engage in defense. So every veteran of every community that I just mentioned, you need to look out for your people. You took an oath. Even if you're not an active service member, train your community to defend themselves against any enemy that is coming from these militias, basically funded through the federal government. Again, stop supporting an entity that is solely based on greed and corruption. you are not going to get results. And to close out the video on the subject of the pandemic, obviously, ain't going nowhere. And unfortunately, until we in our communities start utilizing our institutions of infectious diseases and viruses, there's tons of them all over the country, start ordering and demanding our state level governments to start employing these people to get to work at a local level, which Trump should have done. But see, hey, I've been in public service, volunteering my time for over 12 years off and on in homeless shelters across the country. You have plenty of tools at your disposal. Obviously, they don't want you to know that. You can simply utilize your search engines to find these places, read up on these places, and take care of yourselves. Stop relying on a fucking entity to do it for you. They will never do it. You are not 1%. You are not CEOs. You are not shareholders, stock investors, or stockholders. And you're not them. And that's better to be us than to be a greedy entity that's murdering hundreds and thousands of people in a 24-hour span of time. Everybody be safe. Keep that conscious eye wide the fuck open and maintain a higher level of awareness to become present in your community, to take care of your community. We need leaders, organizers, speakers, and people of action. Heed the warning and spread it in an email only. Please no likes or shares or comments. I have to keep it on the low because right now in Congress there's legislation on the table to control social media and to control what you see and what you hear and consume as information, because that's the order of the day. Conquer shit. Peace.